I have been thinking a lot because I want children. My husband Aiden seems to like children too, and he's considering it, but looking at the way he spends money, it seems like he hasn't thought about it at all. He and I clash a lot over our vastly different financial sense. I am more of a saver, while he is the complete opposite. Even when we combine our incomes, it seems like we can't afford anything luxurious. He seems to have no concept of saving money. Even though I'm trying hard to make ends meet, he says things that ruin my efforts.
Trying to cut back so much will only cause more stress. I hate that even though we're working, we have so little money we can spend. If you want to save, can't you just do it yourself? I want to buy what I want, when I want.
He says these things to me as if it means nothing. Aiden doesn't even get semi-annual bonuses, so we can't make ends meet. If we had children, I think we'd be on the streets. That's why we can't have children, no matter how much time passes. I really wanted children right after we got married, but my husband has been the same since the beginning. He seems to hate the very idea of trying to save money or live frugally. Not only does he have a bad habit of spending money recklessly, but his pride is also a problem. It's difficult when someone with low income has such high pride. We've managed to get by so far by somehow saving money, but the dream of expanding our family may never come true. Maybe I'm also not facing reality. I've talked to my husband many times, but now, every time money becomes an issue, we end up fighting. Of course, we never end up on good terms. We just get mad at each other and that's it. Not just money, but our marriage itself is in a crisis situation. It's tough when money problems cause relationships to deteriorate. It's painful when a married couple can't come to an agreement. I want to have a decent discussion too, but he's completely convinced that he is right.
You are too stingy. Even if you say we don't have money, we're managing somehow. There's no need to save more than we already are. You like to save money, but don't push it on me.
He ends up telling me these kinds of things all the time. We manage to make ends meet because I'm cutting back on everything I can. There are even months where I can't save any money, but we're somehow getting by. I don't necessarily like saving money, but I'm doing it because we'll have problems in the future if I don't. Even when I explain things like this, he doesn't try to change his lifestyle.
I can't perform well at work in the afternoon if I don't eat whatever I want for lunch,
he says, refusing to bring a packed lunch to save money.
I've decided to start a new hobby with my friends, so I bought all the equipment.
He'll also say things like that without even talking to me first, and often makes expensive purchases. I'm tired of getting angry and worried all the time. My husband probably won't change for the rest of his life. I'm doing my best to work hard, but he's acting exactly like a child. He's like a child with no charm. I've even been getting to the point where I can't feel any love for my husband after all the fighting we've been doing. This is a really bad situation. It seems like things will be difficult as long as my husband doesn't make any effort to improve. I feel like I'm doing everything I can, and now I just need his cooperation. But no matter what I say, I'm treated like the crazy one, and he always thinks that he's right. When we have arguments, he has never once apologized to me. Every time I end up giving in because that's just easier. I know that this can't go on like this, but if we argue and stress builds up, our household becomes tense and every day becomes even more unpleasant. Sometimes I feel like standing up for myself more, but even if I do, my husband won't change and I just give up. But if I continue like this, I might regret it in the future. For the sake of my future self, I have to try my best to correct my husband's behavior. I've been keeping it all to myself, but I feel like I would feel better if I talked to someone about it. I'll try a little harder, so if you could cheer me from now on, I would be grateful. Mia's problems seem quite serious. However, if her husband doesn't change, her problems won't be resolved. I hope Mia doesn't get too stressed out. Hey, can I ask everyone something again today? My husband and I had another fight over money. Actually, our car is already falling apart, and we have to replace it soon, so we talked about it. I suggested buying a used family car, thinking about the future, but he immediately rejected my idea.
Used cars are already bad enough. There's no way we can get a family car. I won't ride in that kind of car.
But there are some that look cool these days, so let's at least check them out, and let's find a clean used one, okay?
You really don't understand anything, do you? Do I look like a guy who would ride in a family car?
Well, yeah, you look like a guy who just doesn't want to ride in one.
Oh, I don't want to ride in one. Plus, I don't like used cars. I want to customize the car.
As expected, my husband started acting like a child throwing a tantrum. I was a bit taken aback and said, New cars are already expensive, and we can't afford any customization options anyways. We don't have that kind of money. But it seemed to hurt my husband's mood.
I'm paying for it with my own money, so you can't complain. I'll take out a loan in my name and pay it off by myself. Then there's no problem, right?
He was being stubborn like that. No, that's not the issue. Your money is our money, isn't it? We'll be in trouble if all of your income goes to the car. Besides, have you even decided which car you want to get? When I asked him that, he said something outrageous.
I haven't decided on a model, but I think I want a Tesla.
Huh? A Tesla? Wait a minute, isn't that really expensive?
Well, it's what they call a luxury car, but I can pay for it with a loan, so it's no problem.
What kind of loan are you thinking about? One that lasts for decades? Sorry, but I can't agree to that.
It's my money, so I can use it however I want.
But how you spend your money affects me too. What are we going to do if we end up on the streets?
We'll deal with it when it happens. We can just live in the car if we need to, can't we?
Don't be ridiculous. Anyway, buying a Tesla is absolutely out of the question. When I said that, my husband pouted, and he has been ignoring me since. Honestly, I can't keep up with him anymore. We're supposed to go to the car dealer together tomorrow, but I already feel anxious that we'll end up fighting there. I absolutely cannot let him buy a Tesla no matter what. He doesn't even get semi-annual bonuses, and it seems like the day when a car becomes our home is getting closer. There's a possibility that we won't be able to get a loan because our income is low, but I want my husband to understand why it's not a good idea. It's really difficult because he doesn't listen even when I explain. He seems to only think about himself. Mia and her husband always end up fighting when it comes to money, but it was an unexpected development that the husband wanted a luxury car. But there is a limit to everything. However, it seems that her husband is not thinking about anything. Mia seems to be more troubled than usual. What kind of battle will unfold at the car dealer? We can only hope that this situation will be resolved in a positive direction. However, it seems that the situation has taken an unexpected turn. Until just now, I was with my husband looking at cars, but I just came back alone. As expected, we had a fight at the car dealership. This time, it seems like the fight won't end with just words. Until yesterday, I didn't think it would come to this. We decided to get a divorce. Even during the drive to the dealership, the atmosphere in the car was awkward because of yesterday's fight, but I wanted to make sure we discussed and agreed on purchasing a new car. So I tried to regain my composure and looked at the cars and listened to the dealer's explanations. I decided that a family car would be good for us, and there happened to be a suitable used car. I asked my husband what he thought of it. Then he bluntly said,
I told you yesterday that I absolutely hate used cars, and I also rejected the idea of a family car, didn't I?
I tried my best to persuade him and said, but this is the most realistic option. Can't we at least take it for a spin? You might like it. But he replied,
I won't fall for that. I have no interest in that kind of car, and no matter how many cars you show me that you like, I'll reject anything that's not a luxury car.
With that, he turned me down. At this point, we were talking in circles. The dealer watched our interaction and seemed uncomfortable, laughing awkwardly the whole time. I was so embarrassed that I didn't know what to do. Realistically speaking, I knew that a used car would be the best option, but my husband didn't want to hear it at all. We had no other choice. Will you be happy if we get a new car? I asked him, but he replied,
I don't want a family car. I want a Tesla. I want to drive a cool car.
In this way, my husband threw a tantrum at me. Since I couldn't come up with a solution, I finally lost my cool and said, Hey, let's face reality. We can't afford a Tesla, can we? We'd really have to live in the car. When I said that, my husband shouted at me,
Don't say anything more. Our values are too different. There's no point in talking. I'm buying it with my money, so don't complain. If you still ignore my opinion and say you want to buy a used family car, it's divorce.
He screamed at me like that. I was finally fed up. He probably thought that if he said that, I would keep quiet, but it had the opposite effect. Okay, I understand. Then divorce it is. I told him that and came back alone. My husband was surprised, but he didn't chase after me. If we have a child now, it will be the biggest crisis. I have been thinking that lately. So when I said I was okay with divorce, I thought it might be the right decision. He probably said it as a threat, but I really want to get a divorce. So I'll pack up my things before my husband comes back. Regardless of my husband's reaction, I don't think my intention to divorce will change, and I plan to go back to my parents' house for now. I'll come to report when I get there. Please pray that I can get a proper divorce. I came back to my parents' house. After arguing at the car dealership, I waited until Aiden came home, packing up my belongings. A few hours later, he came home looking sad. I decided to talk to him. Hey.
Hi.
Why the long face?
The dealer stopped me.
Stopped you? From buying a Tesla?
I told him about my income, and they said the loan might get approved, but it would take decades to pay off, and the monthly payments would be too high. The dealer said it's not a good idea, and that I should reconsider.
Oh, that's kind of him to tell you that. Normally, they would just want to make a sale.
I think they thought my monthly income was unexpectedly low.
Well, it's only $1,200.
Yeah. Being told that from someone else made me see things from a different perspective. I'm not going to get the car.
My husband let out a sigh as he said that. Yes, he's working part-time while I'm a full-time employee. I'm managing to support our lives, so we're able to save money, but I can't help feeling like I'm the one providing for us. That's why it makes me angry when he insists on having his own way with his own money. Anyway, my husband seems to have changed his mind for now, but I haven't changed mine, so I brought up the topic of divorce. Maybe it's good that we didn't buy the car. You'll have a hard time if you have to go on your own without money.
What? What do you mean by going on my own?
Like I said earlier, let's get a divorce.
Huh? That was obviously a joke.
As expected, he said that and started to panic. You may be joking, but I'm serious. I'm going to pack up and go back to my parents' house with my things. I'll mail you the divorce papers, so make sure to submit them.
Wait, hold on a second. What am I supposed to do if you leave?
I don't know. Do whatever you want. You won't have to listen to me nagging about your spending habits anymore.
But most of the things we bought were with your money. If you leave, I'll barely be able to support myself.
Well then, it might be a good opportunity for you to learn to save money. From now on, you'll have to do your best alone, I said, and tried to leave, but my husband stopped me, looking pale.
I'm sorry for what I said earlier. I don't want a divorce. Please, forgive me,
he said, lowering his head, which he never does. However, my feelings didn't change. You were the one who started talking about it, but the more I thought about it, the more I felt that divorce was the right thing to do. So, I'm sorry, but my feelings haven't changed. I want to divorce you and start my life over. I used to think that if we were staying together, I'd have to change your attitude toward money, but now I think it's better to go our separate ways. I don't want to suffer anymore, and I want to be alone.
No, wait a minute. How can I make you forgive me?
It's not like I'm angry at you or anything. It's just that my love for you has faded, and considering the future, I can't be with you for the rest of my life.
But didn't we get married because we wanted to be together forever?
Well, I thought so at first, but now it's different. In fact, my feelings changed in a few years of our marriage. It's inevitable, isn't it? Your actions changed my mind.
I can't imagine divorcing you. Please tell me you're just joking.
But I want you to think about it. Even if we don't get divorced, I won't come back here. No matter what you say, this fact won't change.
But where should I go then? This house is in your name. Am I being kicked out?
You can keep living here or cancel the contract. I don't intend to pay the rent anymore. If you keep living here, I'll change the name on the lease. But if you can't pay the rent, I think you'll be kicked out.
I can't afford to pay the rent for this place with a monthly salary of only $1,200.
But since it costs money to move, for now, you'll have to save and get through it. Maybe you should change jobs or take on more work. But in any case, good luck being on your own from now on. Ignoring my husband's plea to stay, I returned to my parents' house. Of course, I couldn't take all my belongings with me, so I'll have to go back to get them later. If we're still not divorced by then, I plan to fill out the divorce papers in front of him. It was the first time I had ever rejected my husband in this way, but I was able to say everything I wanted to and felt energized. Although my husband seemed truly regretful, it was too late for apologies. The stress I had been under up until now was too great, and I couldn't imagine staying with him any longer. It's a new life from here on out, but I haven't given up on becoming a mother, and since I have no attachment to my husband, I hope to find a good man. Thank you to everyone who has listened to me. I'm relieved to have been able to report everything. If anything happens again, I'll come back to report, but until then, I'd be happy if you could watch over me.